Republicans spreading deeply disturbing and damaging misinformation isn't new, okay? It's par for the course of being an American citizen nowadays. But it's sad when it's related to a natural disaster, okay? And it all started with Hurricane Helene. This thing hit ground and devastated rural North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. These places got absolutely devastated. And the federal government acted fairly quickly. Okay, can you find problems with responses? Of course you can. But all the governors of these states, whether they were Republican or Democratic governors or Republican senators, have all said that FEMA has done a fantastic job at responding to this. Okay, that's just what the Republican representatives who do this and take care of this for a living say. Okay, don't take my word for it. Take Tom Tillis's word for it, the senator from North Carolina. All right, and unfortunately, the Republican Party and Donald Trump have been using this hurricane as political ammunition to attack Democrats and to attack the Harris administration, the Biden-Harris administration. The first thing that they're saying is that FEMA money is going to immigrants, and President Biden is taking money away from the American people in the disaster relief fund and then pushing it all towards immigrants instead, and that FEMA is all out of money because they gave it all to the immigrants coming over the border. None of that is true. Okay, FEMA has two separate funds. The first fund is emergency disaster relief. There's an emergency disaster relief fund. Then there's a second fund for homeless people. And that homeless people fund has been utilized to help shore up immigration for years, okay? You can disagree whether or not that should be happening. Listen, we can disagree on that. That's fine. But that is what's happening. So when they say FEMA money is getting used for immigrants, yes, but it's coming from a separate bucket. It's completely illegal to utilize any federal disaster relief money for immigration. What's interesting is during 2019, Donald Trump, the Trump administration utilized federal disaster relief money in FEMA to pay for immigrant stuff, and they got caught doing it, and they got in trouble for it. So it's the pot calling the kettle black, okay? And so now Donald Trump is out spreading this information. Obviously, it's getting to the point where Donald Trump is blaming everything on immigrants. He's even blaming the hurricanes on immigrants. He's blaming all of the problems and the death and the toll. All of it is because immigrants took your disaster relief money. Another lie they're saying is that people are only entitled to $750 worth of disaster relief for their broken home. That's a lie. That is only the immediate payment. You can apply for an immediate $750 payment. That's not the only money you're going to get if you've been affected by this storm. That is a flat out lie. And Donald Trump's lying about this is devastating, because if people think that they're only entitled to that $750, they're not going to apply for more money from the federal government, because they're not going to think it's not doesn't exist. Joe Biden doesn't care about me. He only gave me $750. Oh, if only Donald Trump was in there. Well, that mindset would only happen if Donald Trump lies to you and tells you that you're only going to get $750. Now, this goes even further beyond Donald Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the craziest, most ridiculous, terrible person in the U.S. House of Representatives, goes on this tirade and randomly tweets out that, it's the Democrats purposefully using the weather to attack Republican rural areas. What world are we living in? She's out here saying that the Democrats are controlling the weather and purposefully flooding Republican areas so that they can't vote for Donald Trump. And now, first, when I read this, I'm like, okay, she's going to say this for like a little bit, and then she's going to back off of this, and she's going to go all the way back, and she's going to talk about how, that's not what I meant. It was taken out of context. No. She doubled down. She posted this map, which is the political leanings of all the counties, and then the hardest hit areas of Hurricane Helene. She doubled down. She actually believes that Democrats are controlling the weather to attack Republicans. It's unbelievable that anybody takes this person seriously, and it's even more insane because she's one of the top fundraisers for the Republican Party right now. You want to talk about, oh no, there's good Republicans. The Republican Party isn't all Donald Trump. You're right, it isn't all Donald Trump. Everything else is Marjorie Taylor Greene supporters who thinks the Democrats control the weather. All right, and so now, what's so interesting about this is that Democrats in North Carolina have recently proposed a voting change that would allow for later absentee ballot returns in the western areas of North Carolina. Republicans said no. Republicans said no. They don't want to expand ballot access over there. So if Democrats are trying to disenfranchise Republicans, they're doing a really bad job by trying to change the rules this close to Election Day just to make it easier for those people affected to vote. The next question is to even ask whether FEMA is running out of money. We hear that all the time. FEMA's running out of money. Democrats have run out of money in FEMA. Well, is any of that true? No. On September 25th, the House of Representatives and the Senate and the President signed a continuing resolution, a spending bill that gave more money to FEMA and shored up their funds. Okay, it was an additional $20 billion, I'm pretty sure. Now, what's interesting about this vote in the House is that it passed 341 to 82. The vast majority of that 82, I think it was 79, were Republicans. If not all of them were Republicans. And all of these Republicans are going out there and saying, oh, we need more money for FEMA. Where did all the FEMA money go? Well, you're the reason that it was almost running out. You're the reason that we almost lost FEMA money. You voted against it. I'm looking at you, Byron Donalds from Florida, who goes on Fox News and says that FEMA's running out of money. You literally voted to give FEMA less money. If you want to complain about FEMA not having enough money, it's your fault. Look in the mirror, okay? Without this spending bill, FEMA wouldn't have had enough money. So if Byron Donalds got his way, yes, then his world that he has concocted in his brain would have actually been true. So all of these Republicans are calling out the Biden administration for not funding FEMA appropriately when they're the ones that voted FEMA funding down. It is classic Republican behavior. And during the Donald Trump administration, he actually proposed cuts to FEMA every single year during his budget. Every budget that he proposed cut FEMA federal disaster relief funding. So it is so important that we do not allow the political, the partisan, the misinformation coming from the conservative right to spread into the general consciousness of the people that are affected by this crisis. They need to know that FEMA is there and that FEMA has their back and that they are going to respond. Everybody on the ground has said that FEMA has done a fantastic job, but even men like Elon Musk, who we talked about earlier in this week, have gone on spreading just completely false information about how FEMA is leaving people behind. It's blatantly wrong, and the Republicans and Donald Trump should be ashamed.